Will he go on the inside? Oh, he tried it. Oh, Squidgy's out.
Big crash there. Turn 15, isn't it?
Oh, he's dropped. What a move for the SF.
Wow.
Charlie, world champion for the second time in a row.
Vidal is a four-time champion.
And Harvey is the F1XL Season 17 champion. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1XL, and we are live at the Canadian Grand Prix. One-shot qualifying is happening as on the screen as we're talking. However, I want to introduce myself. You all know who I am. But Ollie is alongside me for this one, and we get a double... Well, we've got the double face cam this week. So, Ollie, last week's race, a little bit of an entertaining one, but we're hoping for even more so here tonight at just north of the American border into Canada.
Yeah, we're not far away at all, are we? Yeah, hopefully we have another fantastic Grand Prix. I love this Gareth, and like you've mentioned, we've got a sprint race as well on top of our normal feature races. One-shot qualies coming to an end now, and we'll have to wait and see who comes out on top.
Definitely, and I suppose we should better have a quick look at... OBS has crashed on me. So maybe we won't go to me. That's frustrating. No, it's back. It's back to normal. It's fine. We are all good. Nothing like a little bit of F1XL technical issues. But Harrison, this reigning champion, is on pole with Skies Blue alongside him. Archie in third place. Great showing for CRT Archie there. Light Shock in fourth. Fifth to Gotta Gaming. Sixth to Stracker. Seventh to Ash Rainbow. Delta on his return in 8th, 9th to Jellyman Tim, his worst qualifying performance of the season so far, and 10th to Sketchy. Then there's Elder, Fury, Hammond, Binary, Distant Bard, and Sinful Chris. Both drivers disqualified there in that order as well. Wow, okay. Nothing out of the blue there. Really, Ollie, is there? It's Harrison on pole, really. I think that's all we can say on that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was going to get pole after his performance last week, and reigning champion and all that jazz. So to be expected. But again, sprint race is a very different kettle of fish than qualifying is, which is and it's our first one of the season as well, Gareth. So we'll have to wait and see. As you know as well as I do, those sprint races, people like to get their elbows out and really push and try and gain some places for that long feature race afterwards. So something to consider, and whether Harrison can hold the lead here in a likely aggressive race, we'll have to wait and see.
Definitely, and there's also the thing about Sinful Chris, who had a great race at Canada, second America. Sorry, he's starting at the back of the grid. It's slightly unusual for him. We've seen a resurgence, and now he's at the back of the grid. I'm sure he's going to give us some action to go through the field. But the other one is Distant Bard, a very, very strong driver, someone who came into this league, and we were a bit surprised with his pace because he was really quite up there. I think he was Div 4 again. And speaking of people that come up from the lower leagues, Jellyman Tim, this isn't... again, no disrespect to him. I was expecting him a little bit higher than 9th, and that's testament to how good he's got, that I'm thinking, well, 9th is not good enough for him.
Yeah, he's had a great introduction to Tier 1, hasn't he? And maybe, Gareth, obviously with the one-shot quali, as the term states, you've got that one opportunity to get there, and maybe he wasn't, as he builds his confidence and as he builds up in this top division, maybe that's something he needs to learn on and develop, and like a standard qualification session where he's got a few laps to go. So I think it's still pretty good to be the top 10 again on his debut season in Tier 1, but again, still work to do for him, and maybe for the other sprint races we've got this season. If I double check which ones we've got Belgium, Hungary, and Bahrain. So maybe those circuits, Gareth, he'll do a little bit better for his one-shot quality. But I'm sure he said last week when he was in the comments, Canada wasn't one of his top tracks. So we'll see. Maybe that's part of it. But still, regardless, a great performance for him, and I'm sure he'll hoping to go forward rather than backwards.
Yeah, we'll hope so as well. Well, on the subject of that, we've got 14 minutes left and 14 seconds left of the countdown time. Your face then. Oh my goodness. I mean, obviously we've got the formation app to help us through this one, but what's your thoughts on for the sprint race, and how do you think the pressure is going to be for Harrison?
I think, Gareth, he's so well suited to the pressure now. We've seen him over the last 2 seasons, how well he can deal with that. And obviously he's got that extra pressure being the champion from last year, but I think he's great at dealing with pressure. But there are a couple of kinks in his armour at times. We have seen in the past mistakes made by him, and potentially at this circuit as well, Gareth, how close the walls are to the circuit. That could be an area where we could see him at fault. But he lead the way here, and we saw him lead last week, and he's pretty straightforward for him. So I think it's all down to how the Skies Blue, Archie, Lightshock, and the rest of the guys challenge him here. That will be the key point going into the sprint race.
Yeah, that's a great point to look on. And, you know, 2 of his main rivals, Harrison, Game Man Steph. There's no Game Man Steph tonight, and there's no Swain either. So 2 drivers that could really push Harrison aren't here. But it looks like the other McLaren of Archie has decided to step up, which is great to see. And then you've got Sky Blue as well, who usually he's known for 1 lap pace. But maybe he could do something a little bit special. Got a Gaming had a great race last time out until the what was it, like the final third of the race where things just went wrong for him. So let's see how he can handle the pressure this time around.
Yeah, hopefully Gaming can get a better result this week. We know how good he is pace-wise. It's just getting the end product is where he struggles with. So hopefully this season he can, fill his boots up and try and get some more good points playing positions, and maybe even an ASR position.
Time will tell. But Lightshock's disqualified from the session. He couldn't get his car in the pit in the grid slot perfectly there. I think Elder's the same, as is Sketchy Crib, as is Sky is Blue. So problems for those guys. But we are waiting for the lights to start going out here in Montreal. We're on 5 red lights for F1XL Canada, and away we go. And it looks like a really good start from Archie off the line, already attacking Sky is Blue. And it is Lightshot going to follow suit through as well. He's been tacked by Ash Rainbow, and there's a Ferrari going into the back, and I think that's Jellyman Tim with half a front wing. And Lightshock's good start has been pushed to nothing. So has Ash Rainbow's. But Jellyman Tim, half a front wing, he's going to be really struggling through the rest of this race. Is there anything else going on up above? Well, it is Stracker up into P4 then, up 2 places, and 5 places, 5-second penalty for Liam Hammond as well.
Yeah, it's not great from Liam Hammond. I was on board with Ash Rainbow Gareth coming into turn 1. He was 3 abreast and just missed his braking zone and slammed into the side of Lightshock. And unfortunately, Lightshock down to 15th place and 11 places from where he started. And Stracker was part of that side-by-side action with Ash Rainbow, and he's gained 2 places, like you mentioned, 1 on Ash and 1 on Lightshock. So he'll be pushing his way down. But already Harrison, Gareth, with a 1.3 second lead over Archie. So the man leading the championship flies away early doors here.
Yeah, definitely. Both Mercedes as well have front wing damage, and that is pretty grueling for them. So they'll have to double stack Lightshock. Is that Jellyman Tim? It's going to hunt it, keep this out, and try and make it to the end of this sprint race, which is slightly brave of him, to be perfectly honest. It's not something that I would do, and so is Distant Bard. Front wing damage is going to be absolutely painful for them. Going up a little bit further up, Sky's Blue is trying to attack the McLaren back into that second. Well, try and take that second place back off the McLaren driver with Stracker up there as well. But great starts for Fury, Hammond, Binary, and Simple Chris, but helped by people battling themselves through this race.
Back at the top, Gareth Ostraka side by side with the Skies Blue coming down towards the hairpin. Archie was slow coming out of 14, and he's missed his break-ins on Straka. Somehow does not crash in the back of Archie, but the Skies Blue goes up the inside of both of them there, and now he has the inside line coming up towards the final corner. 13 and 14, they're side by side. Could they make it 3 abreast here? I don't think they will. It's Archie versus Skies Blue. Break in late than Williams. No, they can't go side by side, and the Skies Blue just about holds up Archie. There's someone in the wall in the background, and that's Codim Delta crashing into the wall of champions. We rarely see mistakes through there, Gareth, especially for Delta, and he's out of this Grand Prix.
What a crazy lap 2 that was. Skies Blue actually tapped Archie at the hairpin of turn 10, which caused Archie to have a little bit of a half spin, and I think maybe catching Straka out a little bit as well, which is why he's gone a bit further down, which has all helped Harrison build an even bigger lead. But Delta out of this Grand Prix, and he's going to be pretty upset with that one. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. SRT Fury trying to attack God of Gaming, and Light Shock back up into 11th place now as we've lost someone. Is that Straka? Straka's facing the wrong way. That's not, you can't park there. Ollie?
You can't park there, no. Sorry, Gareth, you caught me on surprise with that bit of commentary. Straka's down to 14th now, Gareth. And he's got a long way back from where he started after, I think he just lost traction on the exit of turn 9 there. But Harrison with a 3.8 second lead. Now, guys, this is Harrison's race to lose. That 4 of 12, we're a third of the way through this race. Well, it's pretty much a battle all the way down from 2nd down to 9th. Archie down to Sketchy Crib in 9th place. So who can come out on top? We'll have to wait and see. But God of Gaming is looking very quick behind his teammate here, Skies Blue. And God of Gaming, unfortunately, though, has a penalty, Gareth.
Yeah, there's a fair few penalties coming through. Fury, Hammond and God of Gaming, for to name a few. But I think God of Gaming getting past Skies Blue as well. And with Elder getting fastest lap of the race, but he is on a fresh set of softs. And I wonder if those tyres are going to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. But Fury trying to find a way past the Williams of Skies Blue ahead, nearly clipping the back end. And actually, this could be why Skies Blue's having trouble, is because he's got no front left end plate, and that could be from when he tagged Archie a few laps ago at turn 10. The straight line speed of Skies Blue is incredible, but there goes God of Gaming into P2 on Archie, and that is exactly what they need God of Gaming to do. But Archie, all he needs to do is just sit behind him because of the penalties in the situation right now. Binary up into P7, a little bit of a better race for him this week.
Yeah, great start from him, up 7 places. I think obviously with a few incidents on the first opening lap or 2, that's helped him out quite significantly. Up, like I said, up 7 places, and a good return from last week. Simple Chris gets a penalty in 8th place, and this train keeps on growing. Light Shock back up to P10 now, so slowly clawing his way through his teammate ahead of Sketchy Crib. And Light Shock could benefit from a few penalties here, and Simple Chris makes a mistake, and he's going to go drop down to 9th place. It looks like no, just about stays ahead of Sketchy Crib here, but Light Shock could potentially gain some places back, but again, it's a long way back up to 4th place, and still plenty of duels to go with so many laps still remaining of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, there's 2 Alpines versus an Aston Martin, and then there's an Aston Martin versus a Williams just up ahead. So it is all kicking off. Simple Chris trying to find a way past Binary for P4, but obviously that penalty needs to be a little bit further up with everything that's happening right now. Simple Chris just clipping over that apex of turn 13 and making sure he's using much of it. And I think Sketchy Crib might very well be letting Light Shock by. It looks like he has let Light Shock by, because Light Shock's pace is better at this track. I think before we saw Sketchy Crib a little bit quicker at some of the other tracks, but Light Shock being a little bit more aggressive here. Maybe it's a track he just suits a little bit, as Fury getting past Skies Blue finally as well, but it's cost him a little bit of time. And there is Skies Blue into the wall. I'm not 100% sure what has happened to Skies Blue. Maybe there's just a little bit too much of a power
safety
on the
car.
exit of the corner, but it has a safety car. And I wonder if anyone will decide, you know what, a pit stop for softs here could be the way to go.
Well, I mean, Ash Rainbow's got. Sorry, an Ash Rainbow. Sky is blue. Obviously damaged front wing, and he's made it even worse. But so keep a look on Harrison. Does he fly into the pits? He does not. Is any risk of the pit stop? I don't think they are going to go, because I presume tyres you're using this race will affect the feature race as well. But Liam Hammond, a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which adds to his woes in this Grand Prix. And he has a front wing change as well to add to his worries, Gareth. And there's a few pit stops as well. Sky's Blue, Jellyman Tim, Distant Bad, all in the pit lane on lap number 6. The Harrison's lead of 3.8 seconds has been demised down to barely anything.
Yeah, really, really frustrating for Harrison. Had a great sprint race about him, but it just wasn't to be at the moment. Lap 7 of 12. Plenty of time for something else to happen. And, we'll wait and see, definitely, to see what Goddard Gaming can do in comparison. Maybe Goddard Gaming can be the driver that really puts Harrison off at this sprint race. Archie wasn't able to keep in touch with the Red Bull man, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. And Ollie, as things stand, is it still Harrison's to lose? Obviously, he's leading the way in the sprint race.
I think so, yeah. We saw how quick he was off the line, and how the lead he built wasn't challenged whatsoever, really. So, if God Gaming's going to get him, Gareth, he has to get him within the first half a lap or so, because once Harrison gets heat in the tyres, we know how quick he can be. So, yeah, God Gaming's really got to push ASAP once the car comes in. Otherwise, it might be Harrison's race to run away with. So, we'll have to see what God Gaming does to try and challenge Harrison. He's got his restarts as well, so we'll see. Here we should have one more lap of safety car, just waiting on Elder to catch up the back of the queue. But another pit stop from Stracker and Liam Hammond. I think Liam Hammond might be serving the 5 seconds he had. And Jellyman Tim gets a warning as well under the safety car as well. So Tim making a few mistakes here, Gareth, is not as bulletproof as we thought.
That's frustrating, unfortunately, but apparently there is going to be rain halfway through the main race, so this is going to be an interesting interesting coming together. I think Steph is going to try and join, as well as Map 45 for the main race as well, so maybe, who knows, maybe we could see a little bit of a different setup through this. Got a gaming there. Yeah, I think you're right with what you said about he has to make the move earlier rather than later, or otherwise I think Harrison would be away and gone. Right, before I'm pretty certain the safety car will be in this. Or will it? Will it be in? I don't know. And I'm kicking bottles over, so I do apologise. How
depends. Yeah, I was just saying, it depends. Well, there we go. Liam Hammond luckily catches up and he'll come in on this lap.
When do you think Harrison's going to go early or late?
I'm thinking exit of the chicane, try and bolt out ahead of God's Gaming, but God Gaming is well. I take that all back, Gareth. He's gone very early.
And he's had to go early as Fury picks up a penalty as well. That's another driver picking up a penalty game, man. Steph joins the session. Sky's Blue has got a penalty as well, and that's down in 10th place. So putting on a fresh set of softs might not have worked for him, but Harrison has pulled a gap of 9/10 of a second now. Just Barb picking up a penalty. Archie and Fury battling away for P3. Lightshock's up into P7, trying to find a way past Sinful Chris. Lightshock then picks up a penalty. I wish I didn't say these people's names, because all of a sudden they're getting penalties as soon as I say them.
Yeah, I think everyone's pushing the limits here, and as you can see, Canada notorious for track limits, Gareth. Especially turn 1 and turn 3 and 4, as well as 8 and 9, well known for corner cutting, and like you see on the table, plenty penalties for these drivers. But hopefully, carry on racing away down the inside. Who is that? That's Lightshock with a bullion move to get past him for Chris, but I think he's going to let him back through. out of respect, and he does let him back through, and Lightshock will have to go again to try and get past Chris. Great respect from him there.
Yeah, these drivers have a lot of respect for, well, I'm pretty sure these two have a lot of respect for each other and battling away hard but also fair, and if something does go amiss they respectfully allow things to go the other way. But Lightshock has a little bit of trouble with his teammate all over the back. Map 45 has rejoined the session, but yeah, Elder not having the best of races, Liam Hammond not having the best of races, but I think he's had his time penalties removed because of those pit stops, so that's not a bad thing. As Lightshock again all over the back, and in the background there, Sky is Blue getting past Ash Rainbow. Is he? I'm not sure. He's got the racing line. Oh, there's a Ferrari into the wall, and that is Jellyman Tim. Same place as where Sky is Blue lost it. Not going to get a safety car to save him on this occasion, and that is not ideal at all. Lightshock now attacking Sinful Chris, but did you catch that incident at all?
Yeah, I think there's just, again, tricky traction zone coming out of turn 7. The car wants you to go drift wide, but you put yourself in the wall if you're not careful. And I think just putting the power down too early through there, and unfortunately for Tim, that's him round.
Frustrating for him, and he's going to be starting towards the back and having a lot of hard work to do. Sky's Blue, Ash Rainbow having a big battle as well, but nothing happening. Harrison's got that 2-second lead over Goddard Gaming in for the lead of this race, with Archie dropping away from God of Gaming as well. God of Gaming really has some race pace to his name this season, and he's doing a good job at the moment. Fury trying to find a way past Archie, but it's not happening at the moment. Sky's Blue is somehow still holding up Ash Rainbow. Ash Rainbow's finding some incredible consistency here on lap 11 to try and get back past the soft runner of Sky's Blue.
Yeah, no, he's doing a good job so far, but he makes a slight error coming out of turn 7 there, Gareth, and that could have allowed some bar through, but again, not close enough this time around. Everyone very close in this mid-pack, obviously after the safety car, but a great run from Distant Bard here that could be the opportunity that he needed. They'll go side by side into 10. Can the Mercedes hanging around the outside here on the soft tyres, being pushed as well. A little bit of contact there, keeps just outside the wall. They're side by side. Oh, they almost clip each other on the exit of turn 12 there, but there should be a good opportunity for the Mercedes. Up the inside he will go, and I don't think the Red Bull has anything to come back at. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. This doesn't work. Oh, guys, be careful. Just about squeeze through. Ash Rainbow has to yield, and now he might lose another place, guys. Yes, he does. Stracker flies on through as well, as does who's it? The other Mercedes. That's Elder through as well.
Oh, cracking battling, and unfortunate for Ash Rainbow. He's the recipient of it. Liam Hammond trying to find a way through as well. It hasn't happened. Fury gets past Archie, and that is Archie down into P4. Struggling a little bit maybe with tyre temps or something, but he has lost the position and now battling away. Jellyman Tim has gone on to a set of pits and set of softs to finish off, as I think we've lost Sky is Blue again at the same corner as we lost him before, and that's the exit of turn 7. Can any of these drivers get anything on Goddard Gaming? I don't think they can, but that is bad news for Sky is Blue. But let's go on board with Harrison as he comes down. We give him a bit of stream time because he's been a bit of a league of his own at the moment.
Yeah, he's been fantastic in this Grand Prix. Just keeping an eye on that fight for second, but I don't think it's going to develop into anything. But I think it will be Harrison to get another win here in F1XL and win the sprint race here in Canada in fine fashion, we'll have to say, Gareth. Great race there from start to finish, even with that safety car. But look at the amount of Goddard Gaming and all the way to 9th place with all those penalties. That 6 seconds really hurt him, Gareth.
Absolutely, really did. And Binary on the podium here as well. Sketchy Crib into 4th, Sinful Chris 5th, and Lightshock there 6th. A recovery drive with Stracker just onto the back of him there as well. Look how close those timings were because of the penalties, but not what we expected, but also what we expected with Harrison taking victory.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. You know, Harrison in fine form at the minute, and he adds to his 2nd win of the season. The podium streak continues for him in this in Tier 1, and by Driver of the Day, I'm not sure we're doing Driver of the Day for both races, Gareth, or we just stick into the one for the overall evening?
I'll definitely do both, and I'll let you decide who you think's worthy of it for this one.
Oh, okay. I'll see. I'll try my best. Do you know, guys? I might have to say Binary from where he started, Burn 14th place. Didn't get any penalties, and was in the right place at the right time. So I think for me, it's Binary. But if Harrison, I think, wins the feature as well, I think difficult not to give it to him.
I mean, as a recovery drives go, I've got to give Light Shock a shout because that was a cracking comeback through the field. Okay, you got the penalty, but yeah, you're right. For the sprint race, I think Binary's a good shout, but Light Shock a close second. I mean, while we wait for my brain to work, while we wait for the race to start, let's go back to normal. The picture screen, and we'll get Ollie's face here very, very shortly. There we go. The beautiful man to my right, but that is my left hand. That's my right hand, even though on the screen it's my left. Yeah, anyway, enough about that. It's raining. We've got rain on the track.
I'm in the box, help!
Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
It's raining on track, though. It's raining on track. So
it is.
This is the rain that Codename Delta had said that was going to happen. It's going to be interesting. I wonder how many people risked going on a little bit of a wetter setup. So a setup 2 or a 3 instead of a 4 or 3, if that makes sense. And how they did their plan of action for this race, really.
Yeah, obviously more points for the feature race, and maybe a few drivers contemplating whether to focus on this race. Obviously, they may have lost a few places in the sprint race, but trying to benefit then on a larger amount in the feature race due to the increased points tally you can get. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they can do that in this race, Gareth. Obviously, we don't know the full weather in this one. It could be just a small portion of rain and we have a dry finish, but we'll have to wait and see. But I still fancy, I still fancy Harrison, even wet conditions. We know how dominant he has been so far this season, and it wouldn't surprise me if he continues that in this feature race.
I'm trying to think who I would back on this one. It's a little bit less of a certainty, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Especially with Steph joining the session as well. I know Steph's pretty good in the wet. But
he's from the back, though. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I really don't know. This is a difficult one to choose. I mean, some of these drivers really have to think about what they can do.
I'm trying to think who is good in the wet, Gareth. Thinking back to all the seasons that we've done and who's been up there in wet races, and if my mind serves me correctly, Binary is quite good in the wet, as is Swain, but obviously Swain's not racing this evening. The rest drivers are not 100%. I think this might give us an indication to see, as the season progresses, if we do have another wet race, who we can sort of pin to a good wet result.
Definitely. And also, I think we will see how a lot of these drivers have picked up a few things, or what strategy they've picked up as well. I say strategy, more setup. You know, we saw how quick Gotta Gaming and Sky's Blue were in comparison to Archie, but could that be now Archie is on that wet weather setup, which allows him to be a little bit quicker at these early stages? We'll wait and see. I'm not sure what 100% what we're waiting for on this one.
There we go.
Typical. Just as I say it. Race victory?
It'll be slightly boring, Gareth, and say Harrison. I think after that dominant display in the sprint, it's difficult not to put his name on my list there. But I'd hope that obviously Light Shock, Binary, Chris, the old gang, all back together, pushing for that win as well up there. So we'll have to wait and see once we get going. We're not going yet, luckily, but yeah, just looking at Archie, obviously his name is in the hat as well. We can't discount him. Hit and miss his performances last season, you could argue. So hopefully this season he is a bit more consistent. I think a few drivers this season will be looking to that, Archie, Skies Blue, Ash Rainbow, God of Gaming, all drivers that will want to be improving their consistency. So yeah, I think, but for me, I think it's still Harrison. But again, where the Gareth, we don't know when the driver's going to come. Safety cars are almost guaranteed at this circuit. So yeah, I think there's a lot to play for. Don't think you can pin it just on Harrison just yet.
I'm also thinking Distant Bard is one to watch for. I'm not sure why. In the wet, I just think he's going to be someone to watch for.
Where's he on my list? Distant Bard in the Mercedes down in 12th. Yeah, I'm sure we've spoken about Distant Bard when we have had wet races last season, and he was quite good. So again, a man to watch out for. Obviously down in 12th, Gareth, and obviously the main overtaken opportunity is down into 13 and 14, but we've got no DRS. So I'm hoping it doesn't end up being a bit of a train forming, but we'll have to wait and see. Everyone's entire strategy, so there's not that to play with. But hopefully we do have a dry spell in this race near the end to add a bit of spice to the race.
Well, time will tell as the drivers are coming down through the Wall of Champions for the first time, for pretty much the first time of 35 laps. We've got a grueling task ahead of us for some of these guys, and let's wait and see. The last man is getting themselves up in the grid, and there is Game Man Steph throwing himself into the grid position. God of Gaming wasn't able to put himself on the grid slot perfectly, so here we go. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 red lights here in Canada for F1XL, and it's a lot longer held than it was last time. Archie getting an equally good start as he did in the first race, and he's already alongside Harrison. Binary being attacked by Sketchy Crib, and I think Sketchy Crib has got the position done, and Archie's had to take evasive action off the road, and here comes Sketchy Crib, surely not up the inside of Archie, and he's managed to get it done. Lightshock struggling as well, battling away with Binary, and Archie again has had to straight line a corner, and that is not ideal, and I think Binary's dropping like a stone.
Yeah, a few guys taken to the grass, a rallycross route coming through turn 3 and 4 there, guys, but luckily no one's around. I say that though, that's someone around. Oh no, it's Lightshock again, Gareth. He's touched with Archie. Both are at the back of the grid. Can't see if there's any damage to those cars. I didn't see what happened, unfortunately, but both guys at the back. Lucky they're not too far off the back, but both guys who were second and sixth at the start of this race, and yeah, it's gone from bad to worse for these guys. But Elder up into P5 already. He's had a fantastic start.
Well, I can tell you exactly what happened there. Lightshot getting past Archie, but squeezed Archie a little bit, but I wouldn't say it was too aggressive, and Archie just caught the back end of Lightshock and span him, and that is really frustrating for Lightshock. He is going to be fuming. I don't think there's any other words to describe it. But season 2, oh god, big hit, and that is Fury out of the race. What has happened there? Is that under braking into the back of Straka? I'm not 100% sure how that happened. Did you see that?
I saw I was on board with Delta, Gareth, and I flicked to the broadcast camera, and out of nowhere he just lost the back end, hurtling towards Straka, and it was a Mercedes. I think Elder almost got tagged in it as well. I don't know whether Elder's got damage to that front one. No, he's okay. But both, or maybe it was one of the Mercedes. I presume it was Elder who was fighting away. But you've got a full course yellow here in Canada now. But unfortunately, that's Fury into the wall, and very much like Perez, I think, from a few years ago at Canada, Gareth. Am I right in thinking? Crashing into losing it, and I don't think he ended up in the barrier there. But unfortunately, this is down to 16 drivers here in Canada. As Elder gets a speeding penalty under the VSC. That's an unusual one, but there we go. Unfortunately for him, he's down. We've got 3 seconds time penalty, but one person to note, Gareth, is Delta is up 12 places from where he started after a fairly poor sprint race. He's had a phenomenal start here in the feature.
Into the pits goes Elder then to serve his drive-through, and I've re-watched it on stream, and it looks like Fury went for an overtake and then forgot it was wet, so his back end just stepped out. And it's, well, cost him massively. And I wonder if Elder's got any rear wing damage from that, because that was a big collision and somehow he managed to keep it on the track. So definitely not ideal, but that is what happened there. But Elder looking like he was going some incredible stuff, but it just wasn't to be. Is there front wing damage from somewhere as well?
Delta smashed into the wall, Gareth, on where would that be? The left side, or the exit turn 5 on the left side of the barrier, and he's got no front wing on that Alfa Romeo now. After a fantastic start for him, he'll have to pit on this lap, and that's going to drop him all the way to the back of the grid, most likely, after a spot of unusual bother for the Alfa Romeo. But back up the top, guys, I have to say, Sketchy Crib sticking with Harrison in these wet conditions, doing a fantastic job so far. And you've got a big old train performing behind Ash Rainbow as well, defending for his life from Game Man Steph, who's had up 10 places from where he started, and it could be 11 places coming down towards 13 or 14.
It's exactly what Game Man Steph needs. It's side by side. There's Delta into the pits. But Ash Rainbow actually made a couple of good overtakes before that, and now is obviously... Oh, Sky's Blue is out of the race. And where is that?
The left side of... he's on the left side of the pit lane, Gareth. On the inside wall. I don't know whether he got tagged in the back. The front wing flew into the barrier there. And we've got a full safety car here. I thought we were going to have one. And we've got one here on lap number 4. And unfortunately for the Sky's Blue, his race gone from bad to worse. The sprint race wasn't great. And now the feature, unfortunately, is no better. And we're down to 15 drivers here in the wet conditions here in Canada. But yeah, another driver, Gareth. Slight mistake and he's out of the race.
This is nuts, and Harrison can't catch a break. Neither can Sketchy Crib on that fact either. But Binary, I mean, he tumbled down the order and then has caught back up because, well, people are just making silly mistakes. And that's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, well, that incident with Fury obviously gained him a few places. Not with Fury, sorry. The incident that Fury was involved in allowed Binary to gain a place back. Obviously, Light Shock and Archie making a mistake that helped him as well. And he just kept his nose clean pretty much, guys. We've got a few guys and everyone coming into the pits, it looks like, minus Ash Rainbow, who stays out. So I presume, Gareth, these guys will go on to... Well, let's double check. Harrison's on a set of mediums, Gareth. The rain is still falling, but I guess they're pitting now to try and avoid that. Obviously, it's a quicker pit stop. Obviously, the cars are going slower, so gaining now, but the rain is still falling pretty hard here. Is that an error? Well, everyone's doing it, so obviously they know something that we don't, Gareth, but the rain is still falling. But, I mean, clearly it should be going pretty soon if these guys are pitting for dry tyres.
Yeah, it's time to put that scene on. But Ash Rainbow, Jellyman Tim and Archie all thinking it's not yet time for it. And it really does depend on when the safety car comes in, I think, because it's still... I don't think it's raining anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just stopped as we were speaking about it. And I think, well, obviously the track does take time to dry, but you know how temperamental this game can be sometimes, Gareth. It'll dry an instant or it might take 4 laps to dry. We just don't know. So the safety car don't think will come on this lap. So by the time they go around again, will the track be dry by then? Maybe. We don't know. But there's no spray left, so I presume the track is near enough dry, so the top 3 will surely have to pit now.
Yeah, Binary looking like he's struggling a little bit for grip, which is understandable. Let's go and see what Archie does. Does Archie pit? Oh, it's like he was it's like he was listening to me and thinking that he possibly was going to get some stream time, because he was going to go out, stay out, and then darted back into the pits. A set of hards for him. I think a set of hards for... Ooh, not for Ash Rainbow. Ash Rainbow doing something different. He wants to spice things up a little bit. I think some of the ones that are on the hards thinking that they can go to the end of the Grand Prix. The mediums definitely will require another pit. But Ash Rainbow, set of softs, is that a mistake?
got to be, Gareth, unless there's more rain bound, but that can't be true because a lot of the guys go on the mediums and the hard tyres. So, yeah, unsure by Ash Rainbow there. Maybe he feels like he's going to have to pit for mediums anyway later on in the race. Might as well get a soft run in now to try, or maybe obviously set hard's more likely to get to the end, but maybe he's got to stop, so why not go for a set softs to try and be aggressive after his obviously poor start to well, I say that, no, Ash Rainbow started in 13th, so I take that back. Apologies, Ash Rainbow. He's only got to go forward from here, Gareth, so keep an eye on him, the only man on soft tyres.
Safety car is in this lap. It's still looking a little bit damp on track, but nothing major. So this should be clearing up. We've not had the DRS is an enabled sign, even though I know it's under safety car, so it might hold off for the time being. But this time, when does Harrison go? And after all of this, Sinful Chris, Gamerman Steph are up a huge amount of positions. Actually, Sinful Chris is only up 2, but Gameman Steph is up 13 places. He's got a chance here as Gameman Steph, but so has Sketchy Crib. And there goes Harrison. Harrison's gone. Sinful Chris has nearly got a good run on Sketchy Crib. But the thing about this track is this chicane really can stop momentum. And I think it has done a little bit on Sinful Chris on this occasion, because he's not been able to get fully behind Sketchy Crib. But saying that, he's up the inside. He's thinking about it, and he knows that Sketchy's on a set of hards, and he's got to make the move stick sooner rather than later. Ash Rainbow picking up a 3-second time penalty. Up the inside again. Surely not. Into turn number 3 and 4. He's thinking about it. Sketchy Crib has to concede.
Yeah, but Chris had to hop the curb there, Gareth. And in the background, Steph has to go the long way around through 5. Does he have the info for 6? No, he doesn't. Watch out for Liam Hammond in the background. Was that a tag there, maybe? No, I don't think so. But yeah, Sketchy struggling on the restart here, and the guys on the medium tyres really pushing in. Steph flies up the inside, going into 8. Late in the brakes, and he is through up into P3 as well. And Sketchy struggling on his hard tyres, being surrounded by medium cars.
Yeah, he is. This could be a little bit of a mistake from Sketchy. He's trying to defend left, right and centre, but Hammond up the inside of Distant Bard goes Delta as well, but not having it on this occasion. But Sketchy, I think, he's just got to try and stick to the coattails of some of the other of these cars. And here's Delta surely making the move up the inside, and I think that's got a gaming passing Stracker as well. There's action throughout. Around 2 wide through there, and I think Distant Bard will be a little bit frustrated with that one from Delta, but Binary getting moved done on Distant Bard as well into turn 1, and Harrison sets the fastest lap of the race. And that is as common as, I don't know, a coffee in a coffee shop.
Very common, Gareth. Yeah. But then into Bard goes, there's a bit of a tag there. And that is, there's a huge contact there in the background. That's Stracker and Lightshock both out of the Grand Prix. And that's a second safety car in this race. My word, there was contact between Binary and who was it? Was it? No, Barder was already through. I think it may have been. I'm not sure. I don't want to put blame on anyone, Gareth, but it was almost a ripple effect there, and everyone had to break early, and guys came in together, and I think Stracker hit the wall, and then Lightshow just played into him, taking both of them out, and unfortunately now down to 13 drivers, and we're only on lap 8.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see back on the stream, and yeah, that is just a cluster of cars, and Strack and Lightshock are not going to be happy. But we got another safety car here, and what is this? Is this the 4th safety car we've had, or 3rd safety car? We've had 2 virtuals, haven't we?
If you include the sprint race, Gareth, we've had 3. This will be the 3rd literal safety car, and we've had 1 virtual safety car.
Wow, there we go. And Div 1 gets a name for itself now, and this is not ideal for them. But Harrison again has to lead away, but this time from Sinful Chris and Gamerman Steph. Sketchy Crib is still the lead runner of the hard compound tyres, as Delta, Goddard Gaming and Ash Rainbow all going in. And you know what, if Lightshock has had an absolute hell of a race, and I'm sure he is going to be absolutely fuming. I'm not sure who was at fault in that one, but he's not going to be happy.
No, not at all. No, it's really unfortunate for the guys who retired early doors, and I think even the guys at the top, guys, they just want to get on with it. I think all of them do. They all just want to get on with this race now. And unfortunately, that incident has caused a second safety car of this Grand Prix. And we want to see racing, Gareth, as do the guys watching, as do the drivers. They don't enjoy being stuck behind the safety car, but unfortunately, we're in the situation again. And hopefully we can get racing shortly and to the end of this race without any more incidents. Hopefully.
Yeah, time will tell. Let's hope the safety car only stays out one more lap, and it doesn't look like we'll get any more rain. But we'll wait and see. And not the start we wanted, to be fair. This is not frustrating, really frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It's not fun for anybody really. But the sun is starting to come through the clouds now, so hopefully it is a dry race to the end of this Grand Prix. But let's have a quick look, Gareth, while we're waiting. The winners and losers from where they started, and it is getting mounted up 14 places from where he started at the back of the grid. And you could argue he is Harrison's main challenger this year, going off the first couple of races. And no one could challenge Harrison in the open and sprint, but Steph will hopefully challenge Harrison right to the end of this feature race. But so for Chris, don't count him out. Does have that penalty though, Gareth, as well. But other good winners: Liam Hammond up 7 places, Jerry Mantim up 6, and Delta up 5. Unfortunately, Delta was about 12 earlier, but due to that front wing damage, he's not up as far as he could be. But at the end of lap 10, Gareth, the safety car will be coming in. And when will Harrison go? He's gone early both times he's led this safety car. Will he go late or will he go early? That's the question.
That is a very good question. Obviously, he knows Simple Chris well, so he'll be wanting to trick him as best he can, but he'll know that Simple Chris knows what he's all about. There's a lot of knowing here. But let's go on board with Simple Chris. And there goes Harrison again. It's relatively early for him. But like I mentioned before, the beauty and the frustration about this track is that chicane there can cost you big time. But I don't think Gamerman Steph is going to be caught out at all by Simple Chris. He's up the inside, and Gamerman Steph is surely going to make the position. No, he holds out of it.
Yeah, I felt like he could have got through there, Gareth, but chose not to. Maybe some lag spike from one of the drivers, so he chose not to pull the move there. But already, and Steph gets a penalty for hopping the curb at 4 there, and that is one of the main places. That's obviously Chris has already got a penalty, but Harrison running away with it now, 1.4 over second and third already, and Steph really struggling already on. Well, these guys are all on the medium, so they're all on the same strategy here. So second and third need to work together to catch our race leader.
Definitely, it's not. They're not working well. They've got to see if they can win this race, but I don't think they will do. But they've got to be careful, because these mediums, while yes, we've had it under the safety car, they're not going to last until the end of the race. So the hards could very well do that. So Sketchy, Distant, and Bard and Binary, if they just keep it clean, keep it simple, they've got a good chance of doing something special here tonight.
They do indeed, yeah. If, like I said, keep their noses clean, stay out of trouble, they're in a great position to do so. That's harder said than done, Gareth, as you know in these races as well as I do. But they're in a good position for now. But as the race progresses, they'll start to claw these guys back into their own clutches as the race progresses. So keep an eye on those gaps. It's almost like half a second between Liam Hammond and Sketchy Crib at the moment, but everyone very much head to toe in this race after the safety car restart. So it should open up a little bit, but we'll see whether Sketchy, Distant, Bard and Binary can hold their own and keep up with the medium runners in the early stages of this restart.
Got a game getting past Ash Rainbow, and that's Ash Rainbow out of this race. And I wonder if that's going to be another safety car. It is. And oh my goodness, this is just one of those days, and Ash Rainbow got caught out. I think maybe we've got a gaming there, and it's a real frustration for some of these guys, but it's helping the medium runners out, but it's also hindering them as well, because they can't build that gap.
Do you know, also we'll have 23 laps remaining. I wonder whether any of the hard runners would come in for a set of mediums now. Just to get that pit stop out the way, so they can just go to the end then.
Well, technically, the hard runners don't need to pit, do they?
Oh, yes, of course they don't, do they? They'll be going to the end, won't they? Yeah. Yeah, ignore me. Don't listen to what I said. I had completely forgot they'd already pitted. Obviously with a wet start. Yeah, so this is just helping the hard runners really, Gareth. Obviously those mediums won't get to the end. Well, they will. Maybe, just about. They might be on 90-odd%. They won't be very good, but yeah, they very much will likely pit. But at this rate, Gareth, with all the safety cars, they could go on a set of softs to finish off this race.
Could do. They could very well do. We've just got to wait. I mean, if we get another safety car as well, we've had a flurry of safety cars. If we get another one, the hard runners could go in for the pits for another set of mediums. You know, and make it to the end. I think anything from lap 18 onwards, and they will be thinking, if we get another safety car, I'll go on for mediums. And that can change everything about Harrison, Simple Chris, Game Man Steph. It's all sketchy crib, sending his back end going there. Because they could, you know, Harrison's, that top four can go into the pits, but they can only choose hards or softs because they've used that set of mediums in the sprint race, and they don't have another set of mediums.
Yep, you're correct. Yeah, they've got no option, so they're in a bit of a tricky position here, and they just want to get this race going now to try and use those tyres because they barely had a chance to use those mediums. We've had 3 safety cars. Oh, and that is Liam Hammond around on the pit straight just before the entry of turn 1. And that's Liam down to 10th place. Was that a moment of lapse in concentration, or was that a tap? I'm not sure, but is he allowed to go back to where he started? I'm not sure.
He shouldn't. No, he shouldn't be. That is a real frustration for him, and I'm gonna just see it from a point of view, see if I can catch it back on stream and see what happened to him. And
well, it would have been a notification about contact, wouldn't there, if there was someone that tapped him, but I don't think there was.
I think he was alongside Game Man Steph and then tried to avoid contact, and then boom, he's spun it. And that is a crazy thing to see happen in a Division 1 channel. That is mental for weird. Anyway, he's just ahead of his teammate now, Archie, on the medium compound tyres, and the safety car is in this lap, and I wonder when Harrison will go this time, and I wonder if it will be similar to what he did before. What do you reckon?
Do you know, Gareth, they come in threes, and I think he'll go exactly the same time as he did on the last 2 attempts.
Fair enough. I don't blame you thinking that. It won't be too far away, and I think Simple Chris is waiting for it to go as well. There we go, and I think that's just as bad catching for Simple Chris as before, but he's able to maintain the gap to Steph behind this time around, and Harrison pulls away down the start-finish straight for the 15th time, and there is no action from him. Archie and Hammond getting side by side a little bit there down the start-finish straight, but nothing happening on this occasion. Again, Rand Steph just sitting behind Simple Chris and just ahead of Sketchy Crib, who it must be thinking pretty happy on those hard compound tyres as of this moment.
Yeah, he's in a great position as Liam gets past Elder in the background, but good position for him. You know, we thought early doors he was, after the pit stop, he was in trouble because everyone was getting past him, but he's in a good position at the moment. One of those people, obviously Straka is out of the Grand Prix. Liam made a mistake, so he's in a good spot here. Just needs to try and stay within DRS range here because he is slipping out at the moment and he could very much be out of it by the end of this lap.
Yeah, definitely not ideal. But Sketchy struggling. It's really weird out there at the moment. There doesn't seem to be any rhythm to this race, and people struggling. Delta dropping behind Goddard Gaming there as well, but Binary holding station behind Distant Bard, and Harrison, again, like the coffee in a coffee shop, is the fastest man on the track.
Yeah, it's two things that go hand in hand, don't they? Harrison and fastest lap here in Canada, and Chris has got nothing to fight with at the moment. 1.6 split first and second, and that gap is only going up and up. I'm sure Chris hoping that something happens. Unfortunately, though, he has got that penalty hanging over his head, and unfortunately for Chris, Steph is not far behind whatsoever. So any mistake by Chris will allow the Dutchman through past Chris here. But Steph is struggling a little bit. We thought obviously a fantastic start by him, but just stalling at the moment. But I think it's Sketchy Crib who is the man under a little bit of pressure here, with Bard and Binary closing him down in the early stages, or almost at the halfway point in the race. It's hard to believe, Gareth. But I think Sketchy could be the man in trouble. I say that though, further back down, you've got God of Gaming and Archie and Elder fighting away, and both guys go flying through past their respective counterparts, and they're all through. And DRS is now finally enabled here for the first time at Canada, Gareth. Should have been enabled a long time ago, but because of those safety cars, we're only now getting it.
Jenny Man Tim keeping his elbows out in the battle for the final point scoring position with God of Gaming, and he's, oh goodness, it's very, very close. I think there was a little bit of desync there as well. Delta seeing if he can do anything, but he can't on this occasion. Let's go a little bit further up. But yeah, quite rightly mentioned, should have had the DRS a long time ago, and we've only just got it open. Lap 17 of 35, we're halfway through this race, and we've lost 5 drivers. SRT Fury had a little bit of an incident under the in the rain with Elder, I believe, causing the first safety car. Sketchy Crib getting a 3-second time penalty for his troubles in P4. We also lost Skies Blue, Stracker, Lightshock and Ash Rainbow. In this incident-packed Canadian Grand Prix, and it's been very, very weird. Distant Bard trying to get back close to Sketchy Crib. Binary seeming to lose a little bit of ground to the guys ahead, unable to keep up with their pace shown. Gamerman Steph, I think maybe trying to find a way past Sinful Chris as well, but I'll keep on board with Distant Bard as he comes down the start-finish straight for the 18th time. And surely he's going to find a way past Sketchy Crib into turn 1. It's tight, it's side-by-side action, but Sketchy's keeping his car there.
Yeah, great defensive work by Sketchy Crib there, holding the outside and then the inside for the next part of the corner, and somehow stays ahead of that Mercedes. He's getting his elbows out through this part of the circuit, and again, difficult to overtake through this part, but we could see a move from Bard if he gets a good exit here. Difficult tracking zone, but it looks like Bard gets a good exit. Can he close the gap down? No, he can't. Sketchy gets a better exit, but in the background, Archie gets back past his teammates. So Liam Hammond making a mistake in the background, but this should be done and dusted for Distant Bard coming into turn 10 and down the back straight here, Gareth.
Yeah, time will tell for that. Binary gets very close to the back end of that Mercedes as well. The Haas is pushing as fast as he can to keep up, and a little bit, this game has this little bit of a moment sometimes where people get through, but enough about that. Game man Steph gets past Sinful Chris into the final. Oh goodness me. And Sinful Chris having to take evasive action. He nearly collects the back end of Sinful Chris, Game Man Steph, sorry. I'm not 100% sure what happened between the two of them into that final chicane.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Chris, and he's already a second behind Steph, so that's really not great for him. And Steph now has to charge down 4.7 seconds to E.T.E. Harrison. That's a big old feat, so we'll see whether he can achieve that. But we've had another mistake from, looks like Liam Hammond, who's spun at 3 and 4, and that's his race coming from bad to work out. Down to 12th place now for Liam Hammond, and he's got a big old mountain to climb, try and get any sort of points in this Grand Prix. But Bard, like I said, now holds P4 and now closing down towards Sinful Chris. And these hard runners will start to come into it now. That 14 laps on these tyres, the medium runners will start to be feeling some pain in those tyres, and the grip's starting to come away from them.
Well, Archie managed to dispatch Binary as well, and now he's on the hunt for Sketchy Crib, because he's finally found his pace a little bit in this race, and he's coming down his back straight into turns number 13 and 14, the final chicane before the wall. The champion Distant Bard is being caught back up with Sketchy Crib as well as they head down into lap 20 now and into turn 1, and it looks like Sketchy can't make a move on Distant Bard on this occasion, but this battling away between them is allowing Sinful Chris to pull away, and as you quite rightly mentioned, the hard should be the tyre to really be on by now at this stage, but because of the battling, I think it's dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, I think obviously like all that fighting is just helping them. I think Distant Bard is in a good place now. He's not involved with the four-way fight for P4 and can sort of get his head down and try and catch up with Chris. It's 2.5 at the moment between third and... No, sorry, I take that back. Distant Bard is obviously still in the fight. I thought he was further spaced out. Obviously, this fighting isn't helping him at all here. So he'll be trying to break away from this, trying to catch up with Chris. 2.3 split them now, but not going to worry too much. I think the gap is enough at the moment for no duress move to get past him. I think the problem he's got is it might be distracting for him in the background and not being able to concentrate up ahead and trying to connect his lap together. And then Sketchy Crib getting incredibly close into the braking zone, and this could be a move potentially coming into turn 1 and 2 if he's close enough. No, he's not. I think it's Archie, Gareth, who might make a move on the Alpine.
It's looking close. Does he send it? He thinks about it, but not on this occasion, does Archie. He holds back quite rightly as well. Jellyman Tim did get past God Gaming in the end as well. I know we were talking about that battle a little while ago. But yellow flag
Tim's
for
around,
someone.
and so front wing, Gareth. Oh, God. Another safety car.
Wow. At this point, right now, this is where I think the hard combat... What I mentioned at the last safety car, this is where the hard runners will go on to a set of mediums. What do the medium runners do? Do they go on a set of hards? I don't think they shouldn't have a spare set of mediums. So what do they do at this point?
What would that be? 14 laps? Well, yeah, 14 laps on a set of soft tyres. That's not going to be fun. Well, we'll see what Harrison does here. He lifts off. Straight to the pit. So, hard or soft? What is his tyre of choice here? Coming into the pit lane, and it looks to be a set of hard tyres for our race leader.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will stay out. And saying that, Archie proves me wrong. Game Man Steph and Simple Chris stay out as well.
Well, like you said, Archie, well, anyone on the hard compound tire, starting on the hard compound tire, definitely didn't need a pit. They're fine. So Delta and Archie can go to the end. Technically, Chris and Steph can go to the end, but that's another 30. So those medium tyres would have done 30 laps. Now, that's a feat in itself, Gareth, to do. However, we've had so many safety cars, those tyres haven't had the same wear as they normally would behind in normal running. So they've got probably less wear than we think they do, maybe hence why they're staying out. So they've got to think about that. The problem is, though, Harrison's on fresh rubber here, and we know how good Harrison's been. However, Harrison's been leading the whole time. He's not been overtaken. He's very much Vettel in the championship years, just leading and no battling. So we'll see whether he's still got the fight in him to do the overtaking as well as leading. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the cars ahead of him now.
Definitely time will tell us, I'm sure. Lap 22 of 35, we've lost 5 drivers of this Grand Prix. SRT Fury, Skies Blue, Stracker, Lightshock and Ash Rainbow are our casualties. And now, for the first time of this race, we've had a leader that isn't Harrison. So it is Game Man Steph that leads us away, with Simple Chris in second, Archie in third, fourth place to Delta, and Harrison is in fifth. That's your top 5 under the safety car. And you know what? I'm not 100% sure. Like, money's still on Harrison to win, but it's a little bit less convincing now.
Yeah, if you're a betting man, it's gone from 2 to 1 to maybe 4 to 1. Got some cars to deal with. However, they all have penalties as well, Gareth, so that's not helpful. Unless Liam Hammond can get through, but Liam Hammond's done 18 laps on his medium tyres, so I don't think Liam Hammond will be challenging there. Bard, again, all these guys, Bard, Sketchy and Bounty, all are penalties. Elder and Jellyman Tim haven't got penalties, however, they're at the back of the grid. And as much as I love both Elder and Jellyman Tim, I don't think they'll be challenging Harrison for the race win unless something very peculiar happens in this race. So I think it's Harrison's race still to lose, but he's got to do some overtaking, and we've not seen him do any overtaking yet this race, really. Safety car will be in on this lap, but Game Man Steph will lead us away, the first different race leader.
I wonder when he will decide he can dart off and catch people out. Harrison, obviously, with that fresh set of rubber, he's got to make sure that hard compound tyre is warmed up, though, because he could get eaten up a little bit by the guys behind. Liam Hammond I'm surprised he hasn't pitted. That's an interesting strategy from him. But let's look at it from Sinful Chris' point of view. Very much a wheel user is pad user is Sinful Chris, because you can see the way the wheel on the car rotates there is not normal. But here is Sinful Chris, and when does Game Man Steph decide to go? He's much later than Harrison. He's making sure. This is going to be a very, very late getaway from Steph. When he has gone now, and I don't think it's caught many people out at all. Simple Chris is under pressure from Archie behind, but it's just not going to be enough. Yellow flag in sector 3. We've lost Binary and Distant Bard for some unknown reason. What's happened there?
Both in the pits, Gareth. Bard's on set softs, and I presume Binary will do the same. I didn't see what happened there. I saw Bard going to the pits, saw the Mercedes, but didn't see what happened to Binary.
Absolutely mental. That's nothing happening on track at the moment, but really unsure of what happened there. It looks like maybe a issue into the chicane, but Binary was way off anyway. Binary was way down, so maybe Binary had something else go wrong with him. But Simple Chris attacking Gamer Man Steph, but not too close, and Harrison and Delta battling away. And for those of you who raced in the F2XL race or watched the F2XL, these two know a lot about each other.
They do, but in the background, Sketchy Crib and Liam Hammond are side by side. No, take that back. The Sketchy Crib has dived back in the inside, but Delta and Harrison, great deal so far, as Harrison's going to go up the inside, coming into turn 1 and 2, and he's made that move stick like a glove through there, Gareth, and that is him up into P4.
There we have it then. Delta having to concede the position. Those 16 lap old hards are nothing to the 3 lap that Harrison's got on his. We've got a gaming all over the back of Delta as well. Pulling away though from Liam Hammond behind, who possibly is causing people problems, not being let through. Elder trying to find a way past Sketchy, but that's not happening either. Binary well off the pace. I'm not 100% sure what's happened there. I really don't understand what's happened. Very, very odd. See Sketchy battling away with Elder. Elder's trying to make a move, surely, out of the chicane and down into the hairpin. He's going to have the outside line. He's going to have... Oh, there is a bit of contact between the two of them. Distant Bard getting a penalty as well. And it's side by side down the back straight.
Watch out for Jellyman Tim in the background, Gareth. He could take 2 of these guys as well. No duress enabled just yet, but look at Elder up the inside. They can't go side by side through the chicane. Who's going to break late? They're going to try and both go through, and I think Elder's lost a bit of time there, and that might allow Jellyman Tim through. DRS is now enabled on lap 26, but look at Sketchy pushing Liam Hammond coming into turn 1 and 2 across the curb, and that's a penalty for him. And look, they're going to go 3 abreast on the exit. Gareth 3 does not go into 1 at the next corner, and it looks like Sketchy gets past Liam Hammond. Up the inside he goes, but unfortunately for Sketchy, he's got that penalty for cutting the corner. But watch out for... no, Elder tries. Oh, he gets a switchback, Gareth. Where did that come from? I thought the move was done and dusted, but Elder, out of nowhere, there's a switchback coming into 6. That's him up into P8.
Elder had to do that as well. It was a do or die move.
Oh. Jellyman crashed straight in the back of Liam Hammond there, Gareth. Sorry to interrupt, and there could be damage to both cars there.
I saw something happen. Oh, there's more. Ooh. I saw something happen. I wasn't 100% sure what happened, but Yeah, now more damage to that Ferrari and real frustration there for Jellyman Tim. Sinful Chris picking up a penalty up in second place. Archie has been passed by Harrison while we're watching this. And into the pits then is Liam Hammond as well. I think he's got damage as well. But what happened with those two?
Oh, sorry, Gareth. There was side by side, and both drivers got a game, and Delta almost took each other out there, coming through turn 1 and turn 2. It looked like Jellyman Tim went into the back of Liam Hammond going into 8, causing Liam Hammond to go into the wall on the left side. Somehow didn't lose his front wheel, but obviously some sort of damage there somewhere, and obviously Jellyman Tim then losing that car. But just want to look going back with Harris and Gareth up the inside. No, not just yet. And then Jellyman, I think he then misses braking zone coming into the hairpin, and that lost more of his front wing, it looks like. But yeah, Jellyman Tim having a torrid Canadian Grand Prix, and hopefully he can come back stronger next week. But a four-way fight now has resumed, Gareth, for the race lead. Steph, Chris, Harrison and Archie all dealing a win. You could even count Got a Gaming and Delta in that fight as well.
Well, there's only one man without a penalty, and that is Harrison. But looking just ahead, into the pits goes Game Around. Steph and Sinful Chris will take the lead of this Grand Prix, but not for too much longer, because here comes Harrison. It should be relatively simple for the Red Bull driver, and it is. He's up and past the Aston Martin driver, but Sinful Chris is trying to keep his car on there. Oh, I thought that was going to be a pit manoeuvre on the Red Bull then. It wasn't, thankfully. No more incidents on this, but Game Around Steph throwing onto a set of soft compound tyres. I mean, I'm still surprised he hasn't pitted. He didn't pit when the safety car was out, because he probably would have had a better chance then.
Yeah, I was just thinking that through, Gareth. Even if it's set softs that he put on, you'd have been racier than he was on a set of warm mediums. So yeah, real mistake from Steph there. We'll have to learn from that, and that's him down to P8 here, and it's unlikely he'll close at 13 seconds to Elder in 7th.
No, he doesn't. Sketchy crib there as well. It's all these drivers have a penalty, which has just handed Harrison a victory, really, even though it looked like Harrison probably would be in a better position anyways. Binary is only 3 seconds behind Game Man Steph. Into the pits this lap then for Sinful Chris. He's had enough, so that's Archie up into second place. We've got a Gaming just behind him as well, and Sketchy Crib trying to make a move around the outside of Delta. Delta's desperate. Everyone is getting their elbows out tonight.
Yeah, Delta needs to give room there. Sketchy was ahead, and Delta just kept his nose in front. You could argue maybe Sketchy could have gone around, giving him a slightly wider line, but Sketchy had the move done and dusted, and Delta trying to hold his nose in there. But Sketchy, special rubber, and Delta can't really fight back, it looks like, and I think he probably should concentrate on Elder, who's directly on his gearbox here, rather than the car ahead, as they start to weave through 8 and 9 for the 29th time here. And Elder gets a great run out of 9 here. Not close enough, but you have to go the long way around here, trying to put off Delta into the braking zone of 10. Oh, and Delta goes deep. And that's the easiest move Elder will have all day.
Delta is fighting it back as best he can, though. And he's got, at the moment, he's just got a nose ahead of the Mercedes as they come down this back straight into turns number 13 and 14, and Elder's had to concede the position again to Delta. Delta is being very, very tenacious right now. Sketchy Crib trying to get back at Goddard Gaming as well. He's on the fresher, faster tyre, but the DRS from Goddard Gaming because of Archie has helped him massively, and Sketchy Crib is going to have to find another way to make an overtaking opportunity. Looking at the penalties, Goddard Gaming's and Sketchy's have got 6 seconds, so they're going to drop down the order because of this. Sketchy has to make work done. Well, if he's going to make this work, he's got to do it quickly.
Yeah, once he gets past these guys, he's home stretch really. Going to open up his legs, especially on those medium tyres, but just not yet. And back to Elder and Delta, the side by side through 8. Oh God, they just about squeezed through here. Delta has to hop the curb. And two cars cannot really go side by side through them. Elder maybe should have backed out slightly there, but Delta's lagging a little bit, so that's not great. But Sketchy needs to get a move on now to try and push through and get past Got a Gaming to try and catch up with Archie as well. They're starting to split up a little bit here, Gav, and that's not going to help Sketchy Crib in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, with those penalties aren't helping either, but race is over for P1. It's all about P2 and 3 here.
Definitely. At this moment in time, Harrison is 3.4 seconds in front of Archie, as you can see. And Harrison has, well, not led every lap, but he has definitely made it work his way and has made it work well, I think is the best way to describe it. Gotta Gaming is at 0.8 of a second behind Archie, trying to find a way through there, but there's very, very difficult to do that, as Jellyman Tim is now the fastest man on the track. Trying to catch maybe a few drivers ahead if he can to claim some points, but I don't think it's going to happen somehow. Liam Hammond is 6 seconds off distant Bard. I think Bard's only got a 3-second penalty to his name. Got a Gaming then holding up a little bit Sketchy Crib, and these mediums are not at their best. Well, they're not past their best, but they're just about on the decline, I think, now. And while the hards of Archie and Gotta Gaming aren't great, it's probably better.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gareth. So we'll see whether those guys can catch up here. We'll have to wait and see. We've only got 3 racing laps remaining of this race, and yeah, I think it's almost now, guys, about limiting penalties more than anything. We won't have another safety car in this race. No more rain is inbound, even with the odd grey cloud about it. It's all about trying to eke out positions. And Gotta Gaming gets another penalty to add to his woes in this race, and that's 9 seconds now. Gareth O'Neill, wow, he's got to drop all the way down, well, down to 5th at least, 5th or 6th maybe, with how close his group is here.
Yeah, this is well, Delta's falling away a little bit now as well, so the time is dropping there. Sinful Chris is dropped away from Game Man Steph as well. The times on this are weird. People are just seeming to be they're quick at certain parts and then just drop off. It's a bit of a weird race in general, this.
Yeah, it's been a weird one. We don't think we've had 4 safety cars in a row, guys. We've had many a 3, but never a 4. So I think that might be part of why it's a weird old one. And unfortunately, only 12 drivers finishing this Grand Prix this evening. So hopefully next week at Imola, we'll be a bit more consistent with our driver finishes with the racing. So we'll see what happens. But I think they're still fighting on track, Gareth. There's Gotta Giving us a huge tank slapper there, and Sketchy Crib trying to go around the outside into 3 and 4, but doesn't make that move stick. And still plenty of action on circuit. Obviously, these guys got different types of penalties, but they're still racing hard here.
Yeah, they're trying to give us a show with 2.5 laps remaining. Harrison has now checked out. Archie trying his best to hold on to that second place with only that 3-second time penalty. Sketchy's trying everything he can, throwing the whole book, maybe the kitchen sink as well, to try and find a way past Gotta Gaming. Gotta Gaming is holding station quite well, going deep into turn 10. He has gone that time to try a switch back through, but it's not going to happen. Let's look at it from Sketchy Crib's point of view. The DRS opens, and that just helps Gotta Gaming that much. He can pull away a little bit. He's got that much of an advantage because of the DRS.
Yeah, obviously Sketchy's got a low wing setup to eke out that car coming down the pit straight, and you can see how close Gotta Gaming is. Sorry, Gotta Gaming's got a low wing setup. Because you can see how quickly he's going down that pit straight, and Sketchy's closing him in the middle sectors, but Gotta Gaming is just doing everything he needs to do at the moment. If anything, Gotta Gaming is closing on Archie that's ahead of him. So we'll see whether he can challenge him coming into the last lap and a half of this race. But keep an eye for Eld in the background. He's been sat there for a while, medium tyres, not doing too much, but definitely could do something with a lap and a half to go. Disembark as a penalty to add to his woes down in 10th place. So a penalty fest, you could argue, Gareth, in this Grand Prix.
Yep, Gotta Gaming's 12 seconds, though, is not going to help him at all. I didn't realise it had gone to that extreme. Distant Bard picking up 6 seconds worth now as well. Which still won't be enough for Jellyman Tim to get points. As things stand, At least I don't think so. Sketchy Crib can't find a way past Goddard Gaming. Delta picks up another 3-second time penalty to his name. So this could be a rare podium chance for Elder. He could very well get a third place finish here, and she's going to be absolutely over the moon with, I am sure, even with the state of the race, I suppose you could say, is because it's not been the best on the final lap. But at the moment, Harrison's done everything he's needed to do.
Yeah, he's led from pretty much start to finish. He's a seasoned veteran when it comes to these races now, Gareth. There's clouds starting to come over now, so I mean, if we had a couple more laps, we could have more rain. But yeah, Harrison has done everything he needed to do, Gareth. You know, he's a well-experienced driver, and he's a champion for a good reason. And I think we've seen it again tonight.
Definitely showing it today, isn't he? So it just into turn 10. Is Elder going to try anything up the inside of Sketchy Crib? He can't. He's a bit too far off. As it's looking very greasy out on track and very grey overhead, but he's navigated everything he's needed to, and he's done it in pretty good style. And this is Harrison taking another victory here in F1XL, and season after season now, he is proving to be an absolute hit. A cracking victory for him. Archie's going to come along in second place. How does the rest of it all pan out with penalties? Elder picking up third place.
What a result for him, Gareth. After 15th to the 13th, that's quite a jump up to P3. He'll be over the moon with that.
Definitely will be. Well, I would be if I were him, but I know he's been involved in a few incidents, so he might not be. But we will, watch Jellyman Tim cross the line, having a little bit of an incident with the McLaren yet again. Wow, okay. Ollie, how do we describe that?
Wow, good question. Slightly disappointing. With so many safety cars, it would have been great to finish with all 17 drivers. But unfortunately, we didn't have it our way, Gareth. And finishing with 12 is never ideal. But there were some great moments in there. But I think I'm hoping next week at Imola it's a bit more improved.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I don't know what's happening, why it's gone black screen for so long. As soon as I change over, I'm sure it's probably going to swap back. There we go. As soon as I swap over to our faces, it goes to the podium screen. It's like it knows it's going to piss me off. Driver of the weekend then, Ollie.
I think there's only one answer for that. It's Harrison, isn't it? Led from start to finish. I don't think you can give it to anyone else, really.
No, not involved in anything. Yeah, no comment. Let's go down the order anyway. It's Harrison that takes victory from Archie. Let's get to the actual race result. And then Elder in third place. In fourth was Sketchy Crib. Fifth going to Game Man Steph. Sixth going to Delta. Binary in seventh. Eighth to Gotta Gaming. Ninth to Sinful Chris and Disembard. Rounding out the point scoring positions. Jellyman Tim and Liam Hammond. Then in 11th and 12th. We lost Ash Rainbow, Slight Shock, Stracker, Skies Blue and Fury. I don't know how to describe that race, Ollie.
Yeah, I guess it's frustrating. We always want to see a good race, and there were moments of that race that were fantastic, but that safety car really destroyed the momentum and the what's the words? Momentum and impetus into this race, I think, and which is frustrating for us in the comms box, and I'm sure it's frustrating for the drivers there. They want to get racing, and with so many safety cars, you could argue two of them shouldn't have been safety cars. One with Tim, and I think there was another one that was just a spin. Well, that was in the sprint race.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating, but sometimes it's happening. Hopefully next week at Imola it's a bit better.
Yeah, let's hope for better next week, and you know what, I'm gonna miss the podium interviews today, so let's just hope for better next week. And even with all the controversy and everything, Harrison showed his class above, which is great to see. But from an F1XL side point of view, we'll be back on Wednesday night for the extra show. Keep an eye on the the Twitter and Discord for all that. Ollie, final words from you?
Just want to thank everyone for tuning in once again here on YouTube. And hopefully see you all Wednesday. If not Wednesday, we'll see you Sunday.
Fantastic. Don't forget, Imola next week for the Italian Grand Prix, or is it the San Marino Grand Prix? We're not sure, but we'll keep going nonetheless, and let's try and have a cracking race. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.
Down the inside.
What a move! The Aston Martin driver is desperate to keep a hold of the position.
Oh, how has he managed that as well?
Wow.
Will he go on the inside? Oh, he tried it. Oh, squidgy's out.
Big crash there. Turn 15, isn't it?
Oh, he's dropped. What a move for the SF.
Wow.
Jolly, world champion for the second time in a row.
Vidal is a 4-time champion.
And Harvey is the F1XL Season 17 champion.